I would say that I believe that if we were given free rein in this country to call the Muslim youth, even the non-Muslim youth, that I believe that we could bring the argument to the arena in which it belongs. And the arena in which it belongs is the context of the Quran and the Sunnah, what you would regard as a theological arena. That's the real point that we need to get to. Because if we say that we need to look at Iraq, that why these Muslims are doing it, it's because what happened in Iraq. Then we say, okay, the one who killed himself, even what happens in Iraq, and whatever happened in Iraq by way of injustice and oppression, even if that killed himself, if that individual killed himself, will that save him from the hellfire? Theologically, it doesn't save him from the hellfire. Two wrongs don't make a right. We need to bring this discussion, what you would say, we want to bring it into the theological arena. We want to talk about the Quran and the understanding of the Quran, not the way that I understand it, not the way that you understand it, not the way that Abu Hamza understands it, not the way that Umar Bakri understands it, or Bin Laden understands it. I want to understand the Quran first and foremost in the context that the Messenger Muhammad understood it. Then, thereafter, these two texts of the Quran and the prophetic tradition must be understood, must be, without exception, must be understood in the context that the disciples, the companions of the Messenger, understood the Quran and the Sunnah. It must be understood in that context. Anyone who comes 14 centuries later and says to us that we are doing this because of Iraq, we are doing this because it worked in China, or it worked in Russia after the Bolsheviks, or it worked in Cuba because of Castro, or it worked in such and such a place, so therefore we'll borrow that and bring it into Islam. Our argument would be, no. Islam doesn't need to borrow anything from anybody. This ideology that is prevalent amongst Muslims, that we change society top down, topple the one at the top, meaning the ruler, and the rest of society will be fine. So therefore, foment revolution. How are you going to foment revolution? Look what Marx taught. Look what Lenin did. Look what Trotsky was up to. Look what Castro did. And they start giving examples. Then they say, look, the Quran is in agreement with this. So then they bring a verse from the Quran and they put it to the people. They won't say Marx said it after that. They'll say the Quran said it. This is the